doing today? There we go, one big woo. My name is Diamond. I'm gonna be your boat captain for today. Y'all can call me Captain Diamond. I have a few safety rules before we get started out here. They won't be too bad. We are gonna go through them pretty quickly. Rule number one is everybody's gotta stay seated. We're gonna go under a lot of bridges out here. They are very low. I don't want you guys to hit your heads, so try and stay in your seats. Number two is no smoking or vaping is allowed on board, but you may drink. It's a little early, but as much as you like it, whatever you like, it's entirely up to you. You can drink. If you happen to fall overboard, do not panic. The river's only 3 to 5 feet of water. Go ahead and stand up. Go ahead and walk out. You're gonna be okay, I promise. You'll be fine. I have one last rule. I make everybody on my boats wave. I absolutely mean that. So I want you guys to put your hands up high for me. Go ahead and wave. Wave, wave, wave like you mean it. Eventually somebody's gonna wave back at y'all. Thank you. If you ever see anybody waving, please wave back. It makes them very happy. It is a fun experience. Everybody loves to wave. If you want to wave and nobody's waving, go ahead and wave anyway. It'll work out. It is a beautiful day. It's a beautiful Sunday. We have lots of lovely sights out here. So I do want y'all to take advantage of that and kind of take lots of photos and videos while we're cruising around. We are going to be together for about half an hour. It's going to be a round trip tour. So I will bring you back to where we started. The weather's gorgeous, the sun's out. I know we're expecting a cold front very soon. I'm excited about that. We're gonna make our way under this bridge ahead of us. The bridge itself is actually not too important. You don't have to worry about it. But as we go under, I want you guys to grab your cameras out. We are gonna get our first good photo just as we're leaving. Grab your cameras out. As soon as we leave the bridge, I want everybody to take a look to my left side. And I want you guys to look straight up to the sky. So we're gonna take a look to the left. I want you guys to look straight up, and it should be the first thing you see. Oh my gosh, my fave. It should be very tall. It should be super thin. It should look like a flat, freestanding wall. I hope you guys are able to see that. It's not a wall. It's an optical illusion. It is a full-size building called the Nix Hospital. Now, it was a hospital fully functioning from 1930 till 2019. It was the first hospital in the U.S. with air conditioning. That was here in San Antonio. It's also where the famous comedian Carol Burnett was born. She was born here to the left at the Nix. The building itself is vacant. Like I said, they shut it down. Some of the windows are open, but there's nothing inside. It's a little creepy. That adds to it. It was a hospital. Now they want to turn it into a hotel. I don't think it's a great idea. It was a hospital for too long. All hospitals are haunted. I think it will be a haunted hotel pretty soon. That's just my theory. It's a working theory, but I'm pretty sure it works. We're gonna make our way around this little curve here. We are gonna get to see a lot of greenery as we do cruise around. Up in front of us is gonna be a big section, and in the middle is gonna be a hotel. It is called the Hyatt Regency. It's a hotel. It's also gonna be a shortcut to the Alamo, if you ever need that, if you ever like that. From the Riverwalk, if you make your way through these doors on the left, it'll take you through the lobby. All the way through the lobby, you'll see waterfalls, waterways, a bunch of greenery like this, and then a staircase is going to take you up to Alamo Plaza. It's very simple, it's very easy, it's about a 5-minute walk. It's air conditioned in the lobby, so if you want to take a little break, they have ice cream too, you can hang out, and then keep walking. It's an official shortcut, I'm not just sending you to a lobby. We are going to go under this bridge. Before we go under, you can see the first dome at the top of this building. On the other side, you won't be able to, but it's okay. On the right side, it's called the Casino Club Building. The colorful dome is actually visible from the highways, so it's kind of what really signifies the building. Along the right side, like I said, it is called the Casino Club Building. It was never a casino. It was never a club. We just call it that. The first 2 floors are going to be a restaurant. The rest of the building up there is an apartment complex, so people live up top. The apartments on the right are very cheap. They go for about $700 a month. So it's pretty cheap. It's a pretty good rate. It's in a really good spot. And so it is a little unbelievable, but there's a catch. There's always a catch. The apartments back here have a wait list of about 16 years long. It is a 16-year wait. Nobody ever waits that long. Nobody ever moves out either. But it's occupied. People do live there, and they will for a long time. We're going to be coming down this section. We have a few people eating out today. This is going to be the restaurant area. It's called Restaurant Row. The restaurants are on the left side, and they're on the right side, and they go all the way down in 2 rows. They offer indoor, outdoor, and riverside dining. So wherever you would like to eat, they do try to offer it out here. Some of the restaurants are still setting up, but I think by 11 you'll be able to eat out here. If you don't know what to eat, that's also no problem. All the restaurants have their menus outside, so as you're walking along either route, you should be able to see those menus and pick a choice by the end. Granted, there are a lot of options, but I think you guys got it. As we go down, we're going to enter this bridge, and starting on the right side is going to be a restaurant. It does start at this first table, even if it doesn't look as fancy. From here, going all the way to the other bridge is going to be what we call Casa Rio. This was the very first restaurant on the Riverwalk. They opened up in 1946. They are the longest, and they are the oldest ones out here. They go from bridge to bridge. It's only Casa Rio. They've been here for 77 years. They were the first ones to offer riverside dining, so these tables and these umbrellas along the right side were the first ones out here. The umbrellas, the colorful ones, is what kind of made Casa Rio famous. They're recognized in a lot of places. We're going to pass Casa Rio. We're going to go ahead and take a left into this bridge here. We are going to go all the way down this tunnel. This is called the man-made extension here. I like to call it the fake river because it is fake from here going forward. The area behind us, what we've gone through so far, and what eventually we'll return to, is the natural river. Back here is going to be 3 feet of water. It is a mud bottom. It does flow naturally. It's been here for a little over 10 centuries. Ahead of us is not so real. It's about 5 feet of water. It's a cement bottom. We started building it from the street level. They dug down. So that's how we got this section. This was back in 1968. We are under a tunnel right now because above us is going to be Alamo Street. It's the roads and the sidewalks up there. We could not get rid of that, so it's a fancy tunnel for us today. And 1968 was a pretty big year for the city. The reason we got this section is because we do a party. It was called Hemisphere, sometimes it was called the World's Fair, but it was a huge party. It lasted about 6 months long. April 6th until October 6th, it was big. It attracted 7 million people from all over the world into San Antonio. So it was a very, very big deal. They built this section to take you over to the party. They would pick you up back there in the main river. You would come all throughout this section to the start of the party ahead of us, and it was just back and forth all day long. Like I said, we had 7 million visitors, so what they were trying to do is get people onto the Riverwalk to see what this was about. So you would see the Riverwalk on the way to the party, have a great time, go home and tell everybody at the Riverwalk. So it worked out. It did put us on the map at the time. It's been a very big point of growth for us. Since then, this area has been really, really big on art. It's become a public art garden. So on the left side, by a local artist, she made them out of recycled bicycle parts. I think that's a very cool trait, to make new flowers out of an old bike. And so we'll see them again to the right side. These will be a little easier to see. They're right behind the lamppost. She made them out of old bikes. I do think that's cool, so I like to point them out while we're passing them. They're located throughout the public parks of San Antonio, so you might see them in other areas. The Riverwalk itself is technically a public park, and so we have a little pier back here. The sun is out just a little bit, but I do want you guys to be able to see this. Coming up on the right side, over that wall there, is going to be the Tower of Americas. As soon as you see the tower, you can stop looking. But on the right side, it stands at about 750 feet tall. There's an observation deck, there's a restaurant up there. The restaurant spins all day long, so you can see the city below you when you're eating. Very lovely. That was also built back in 1968 for the World's Fair, for Hemisphere, and so that was another big reason for people to come visit us. At the time, it was the tallest tower in the nation, so it was a very big deal. It's no longer the tallest. I believe that's the Las Vegas Stratosphere. They have a roller coaster. I would say they're cheating, but I digress. We're gonna make our way down. I want you guys to grab your cameras out. Up ahead of us is gonna be a really big statue. I firmly believe this is the best angle we can get. So as we get a little closer, I want you guys to take a photo. Her name is gonna be Citlali. In English, we call her the Stargazer, because you'll see she is holding a star and she is gazing at it. She is the newest art sculpture out here. We got her last year in March. This year she turned 1 year old. She is made out of volcanic rock. All of the rock comes over from a volcano in Mexico. They stacked up a little over 80 blocks here. She's about 16 feet tall, and that little star she's holding is made out of marble instead. And she represents the indigenous population that inhabited this area before we became San Antonio. Now we're going to be entering this section. From here going forward, it's a bit of a newer extension. It's called the River Center extension. Everything in here is called River Center. Along the right side, we're going to pass by one of our boat locations, also called River Center. Same deal, same tour, it's a different starting point. They're going to get off their boat now, but you guys can still wave at them, and they might wave back at y'all. Even if it's slow, even if it's tiny, it's a wave. Alright, now up in front of us, we are going to be approaching a pretty big building. This is going to be the mall. It's going to be River Center Mall or the shops at River Center. The mall was sort of the reason this last extension was built. It was built to connect it to the mall and kind of build this mall out front. So it was a lot of money they spent on it. It was a really big bang. It was about $250 million for this little area. We're going to go around the lagoon so you'll get a better view of the full mall as we go around. It's going to be 3 stories tall. There's over 100 stores inside. The mall has a Lego Discoveryland, a Sea Life Aquarium, and a Dave & Buster's. There's also going to be 2 movie theaters. They have an IMAX and an AMC theater, if you want to check that out. They've got bungee jumping on the first floor where the food court is. On the 3rd floor, way up top, are going to be a bunch of beams. That's an obstacle course. They'll put you in a harness, send you through the course. You actually have to zip line across the mall to get out there. The 2nd floor, if you're able to see, in the middle has a dinosaur. There's dinosaurs on every floor of the mall because we have a dino safari in the basement, so they kind of lead you out there. And the mall itself is opening at noon today. It's Sunday, so their hours are a little shorter. They're only open from noon till 6. It's very cool. We do H together. We always have, and we always will. We're going to be cruising down this section. Cruising down this area. Along the right side, there's going to be a few more people and another boat or 2. You guys don't have to worry about them too much. It's just our ticket location, Astoria. It's the last one we're going to pass by. I actually want to talk about the hotel to the left. If you take a look all the way up, it's going to be called the Hilton Palacio del Rio. This hotel has a pretty cool story. They built it because of a bet. The bet was if they could build the hotel in less than 9 months, they would pay $1 for the whole thing. That's a lot to wager on, but they paid $1. They started off building the first 4 floors right here and the elevator shaft in the middle on site. Simultaneously, every single room was being built 7 miles away in a warehouse. Every room was fully furnished. They had the towels in the towel racks, toilet paper on the toilet paper rolls, TVs connected, Bibles inside, paintings on the walls, beds are made. Everything you can imagine inside of a hotel room, they were inside these. Each room was picked up with the crane. They were stacked up like Legos on top of the building. They stacked about 35 rooms every day. They stacked about 500 rooms in 49 days. From start to finish, it took about 202 working days. There was no weekends, there was no holidays, it was Monday through Friday. They worked for 7 months. It was faster than the 9-month time limit, so they won the bet back then. They only paid $1 for the whole thing. And we are only looking at one side of the building. There are even more rooms on the other side. As we come around this curve, coming up ahead of us, it's going to be a theater. It's another curve. Up in front of us, it is called the Arneson River Theater. It's an outdoor amphitheater. It is decorated because we've kind of been having a few celebrations over the weekend. So if you want to take a photo of the stage, it'll be up there on the right. But like I said, this is an outdoor amphitheater. It is open to the public. Along the left side is where all the chairs are, the seats are. All those stairs are chairs. You're allowed to sit there. Along Along the right side, even though it is decorated, you may be able to recognize it from the movie Miss Congeniality. They filmed a scene for that movie right atop the stage on the right side, so the stage itself is going to be a little bit famous. We're going to be going through this section. Up ahead of us is going to get very scenic. There's a lot of greenery through here. We're going to have some very, very tall trees that we get to go under. And we're going to have a lot of lovely shade. Along the right side, you're going to see a few waterfalls out here. And these are probably the last of the waterfalls we'll see. So if you want to take some photos, I'd encourage it. Throughout this section, the trees we're going to pass by are roughly 100 to 300 years old, depending on which one you see. Most of the trees that we're going under are going to be bald cypress trees. There's a couple of them that are a little bit of a different species, but most of them are bald cypress. Along the right side, we're going to have this statue here. It's called Camino de Galvez. It represents the cattle drive that happened early on throughout Texas and throughout San Antonio. The cattle drive is actually the reason we have one-ways up on the street level. Back then, it was a lot easier to direct cattle if everything was going one way, so they just built a bunch of one-ways. They stuck around in the city, so that's our street level today. We are a very, very old city, and we like to preserve our history, so we do not get rid of anything at all. We're going to keep cruising down. We're going to go under this bridge ahead of us. This bridge is very, very low, so I want you guys to watch your heads. The bridge itself is also cast iron. Please don't hit your heads. You are going to be okay, actually. I just have to warn you as we get a little closer. The bridge itself is entirely bolted together, and so you'll be able to see that as we go under. When I say entirely bolted, I mean entirely bolted. There was absolutely no welding done. Just the bolts back here are what keep it up. The bridge has been here since 1886, so it is very old. It is very sturdy back there as well. Coming down here, I want to point over to the right side where the geese are talking so loudly. On the right, this is going to be Marriage Island, because people get married on it. On the right side, the entire island is shaped like a heart, and the heart shape comes from the tree up there. This is going to be a cypress tree. It grows into the river, so all along the bottom down there. Getting married back here, it wishes good luck and good fortune on the couple, so there's up to about 300 weddings and proposals every single year. We're going to go through this tiny tunnel here. It's called Old Mills Crossing. It was a very shallow portion of the river, so you could cross through here. On the other side is going to be one of my favorite spots. It's a little bit calmer, it's a little bit quieter. I think they have some music out there, but I'm going to quiet down. If you want to take photos and videos, I think this is a beautiful area. As soon as the bus leaves. Alright, so we're coming up on about halfway through. I want you guys to take a look to my left side, and I want you guys to look all the way up. This is going to be the Tower Life building on the left. It was the first tower in the city. It opened up in 1929. On the left side, it used to be called the Smith-Young building. It was named after Mr. Smith and Mr. Young, and they were brothers, and they were superstitious. When they got the building, they put gargoyles at the very top two floors. So I want you guys to take a look all the way up there. You should be able to see them. The gargoyles hang out about 4 feet over the edge at those top two floors. Very neat, it's super cool. That's not all. These brothers are really superstitious, so they added faces as well. The faces are going to be a little easier to see. They're on the first floor. Exactly, they're on the first floor. They go all the way across the side of the building in sets of 2, but there's 4 faces in total, so you got to look really closely to make sure you find them all. The faces themselves, they're a little creepy, they're a little ugly. They're called grotesque faces. They were put in the building to ward off negative energy and bad business, kind of scare it off and away from the building. It did not do that. It kind of backfired. The building was built for $3 million, but it was 1929. 4 months later, just 4, the stock market crashed, so they lost the building. It was built for $3 million, but they ended up selling it for $300,000 4 months later. So it was very tragic. We're going to keep going. I want you guys to look forward instead. Up in front of us, we have a beautiful building with the green roofs out here. This is going to be the old Bexar County Courthouse. It's the largest and it's the oldest in the state of Texas. It's been open since 1897. To be quite honest, my favorite part is going to be the rooftop. It's a bunch of different colored green tiles. From a bird's eye view, it's meant to look like a patch of grass instead of a building. So that's up ahead of us. And as cool as that may be, I'd love you guys to take a photo, but it's also a distraction. I want you to turn around for me. Turn around, look back at the Tower Life building from this fiesta celebration to kind of make up this mural. And take a look back. I will say the sun is out now, so just shield your eyes a little bit if you're trying to look up there. Just a little bit. Well, those are the love locks. It's a tradition in the city that if you get married here, you want to show your commitment, you come to the bridge with a lock that is a key. You put the lock on the gate, throw the key over the bridge into the river, and it signifies your love forever up there. The lock is locked and the keys are gone, so it should stay up there forever. We are going to have a flood. Back in 1921, the water came 10 feet above the street level. Right now, we're only on the river level, so there might be parts of the mountain. That's okay. Right up there where she is, that very top railing is going to be the street level. Good. How are you? You too. So like I said, the water came 10 feet high, 10 feet above the street level. This bridge back here, the very top railing up there, is the street level. If you imagine 10 feet higher than that, that's how high the water was. There was a lot of water. It was very... I do want to point out this corner here, this tree at the corner is going to be the oldest cypress tree on the river. It's over 300 years old, so it is older than San Antonio, and if you look at it and you follow it all the way up, it's about 90 feet tall as well. Coming up on the right side, this first little balcony here is called the Esquire Tavern. This was the first bar on the river. It opened up in 1933. And 1933 is also the year Prohibition was lifted. Technically, they opened up that same night. Technically, they were opened up way before that. But they weren't in a bar. They were a barber shop. It was a fake one. You walk in for a haircut, but you never got it. You walked out with the exact same hair, stumbling down those stairs back there every single time. And they had a specialty. It was called the buzz cut. You would just walk out with a different kind of buzz. That was their whole deal. We are going to be coming back to where we first started, so you guys will see the line and all the people looking on the right side. I am going to be dropping you off on the left, though. It'll take me a quick second to dock the boat and to tie everything down. So for now, I want y'all to stay seated. If I can have y'all look around, just to make sure you have everything, grab your phones, your cameras, your wallets.